Happy New Year, and welcome to January 2022. We inherited the name of this month from the Romans, who in turn named it for Janus. To the Romans, Janus' domain was transitions, and through the idea of this deity, they explored the nature of how the ending of one thing is always the beginning of something else. Some believed that the responsibility for missteps they made in the old year could be relieved by making an offering or an oath to Janus to do better the next year. It is practices like these and many others that have become our New Year's resolutions. The ending of a year is one of those milestones that encourage us to review what is past, and not necessarily just in the past 12 months. Anyone who's honest with themselves can't help but find something that could stand a little improvement. Setting a resolution can be like the setting of a compass to a direction towards we can strive. At the end of the year, we can use it to measure our progress. All of that sounds great, but once set, a resolution can then turn out to be just one more thing. There's an old joke that goes, a New Year's resolution is something that goes in one year and out the other. For reasons in and out of our control, they're not always accomplished. In 2014, a report by finder.com.au found over a third of the people admitted their resolution was unrealistic. Another third didn't keep track of their progress. Many forgot about their resolution entirely. 1 person in 10 admitted being overwhelmed by their choice of resolutions. The carefully thought out reasons we had for setting these goals at the beginning of the year may not make sense a few months into that same year. Circumstances can change. A training course meant to enhance our careers might not be as beneficial as we had planned in the light of a career change, technological or social change. These unaccomplished goals can transform from a way to focus to a burden that weighs us down. We are reminded of unfinished resolutions, goals that are on a path that was abandoned many choices ago. My first thought is, ugh. So here we are. Another January, and I know I have a basket full of things I wanted to accomplish last year. Some I will probably simply roll over into this year's goals, but some of them I need to let go of. Some of you may know I'm a sculptor. In my workshop, I have any number of fits and starts, sculptures and sketches, started and set aside when I could no longer hear the song the muse sang that guided me with that particular work. Early in 2021, it seemed that a number of these incomplete works was increasing and threatening to take over the shop. The way I had been going, I'd run out of room to complete anything. But it's not easy to just let go of something once it's started, to cast aside time and energy as possibly wasted. In an attempt to recover some of that time and energy, I prioritized several of them and got them finished, but the rest of them were just staring at me, taking up physical space in my workshop and occupying mental space as the perceived obligation of what I invested in them weighed on me. At times, I couldn't go into the shop because that obligation to complete those goals before tackling new ones. So not only were old ideas collecting dust, but they were blocking the start of new ones. But what if I just let them go? It's a painful idea to discard something in which you've invested not just time and energy, but hope. When this service was planned, my first thought was that letting go of these stale projects would free my hands to do something else. With my workbench literally cleared, I could start fresh. But how to let go of those unaccomplished goals? How to choose what to keep and what to let go? For me, the first step was forgiving myself. It's a struggle to admit that I'm not going to meet every goal I set for myself. So I reached into that box and picked up an unfinished piece. I quietly expressed gratitude for anything I had learned in the process and then consigned it to a box I used for kindling. Later in the year, those pieces were committed to the fire, and as I could feel their warmth, I could sense the muse warming up for a new song. I hope that some of you have seen through the metaphor to draw out some ideas about resetting or discarding goals. Maybe this year we can start by forgiving ourselves for unmet resolutions past and clear our mental workbenches to new possibilities. Maybe this year we resolve to tip all things unfinished into the fire, along with the guilt they laid upon us. Maybe the resolution to set is to resolve to open ourselves to the new. Maybe this year the journey is the goal, that we resolve to try so many things that we have enough unfinished starts to burn to warm us on a chilly evening. I'll leave you with the first two lines of Tolkien's Song of Aragorn. All that is gold does not glitter. Not all those who wander are lost.
Every year around this time, for the last dozen or so years, my spouse and I sit down together and set goals. First, we review last year's list, and then we set new intentions. Goals for this year, goals for the next few years, and goals for the long term. Our lists over the years have included lofty goals, such as buying a new mattress, traveling to Japan, adopting a cat, and making a habit of sweeping the kitchen floor. Writing down our shared goals has helped us to move forward in our lives together and hold on to our priorities. I make lists in my daily life too and feel accomplished when I cross off my to-do items. Busying myself provides structure, connects me with other people, and helps me to avoid too much navel-gazing. Without structure, goals, and lists, I feel anxious, depressed, and adrift. Working, volunteering, parenting, mowing the lawn, connecting with my friends, taking care of those cats. Just the right amount of goal setting and list crossing off makes me feel alive. But a little too much goal setting and list crossing, and I start to feel trapped on a conveyor belt of striving to get things done. Maybe some of you can relate. So, what to do? A friend of mine has a tattoo on her forearm. It's a tree branch, or maybe it's a stick, or a river branching. I wasn't sure for a while. One day last summer, she told me that it's actually a twig. The twig is there, tattooed on her body, to remind her to be like the twig in the stream. Twigs in the stream do not decide where they go. They float along and see what happens. They don't fight to change direction. They don't try to turn around and head back uphill. The twig, the tattoo, is there to remind her to go with the flow. Where do you end up, I wonder, if you go with the flow and don't try to strong-arm your life, your body, your mind into being a certain way, meeting certain expectations? Now, if you believe in destiny or a higher power, your life path will take the same route whether you set intentions, goals, and lists, or if you don't. In that case, why not relax and not stress about making certain things happen? They will happen whether you intend them to or not. Your soulmate will appear at just the right time. Your career path will make itself known. Might it be true that, as my mother says, some things are just meant to happen? However, if you don't believe in destiny, don't believe in a higher power, then every decision, every goal might make a difference. The difference. Who to sit with at lunch. Which route to take to work. Whether or not to adopt that cat. Which cat to adopt? Writing down intentions, I've been told, makes them more likely to happen. So why not write down what you want to happen, who you want to be? But some goals feel always out of reach. Despite writing it down almost every year, I have not managed to make it to Europe, and I don't think we'll go anytime soon. Is continuing to pursue the same goal for years on end without making any progress persistence or a waste of energy? Maybe a single-minded pursuit blinds us from seeing other options and being flexible. Or maybe a single-minded pursuit is what leads to real change and purpose. I'm not sure. I've considered setting an intention to be more like a twig in the stream, but I think for me it would be a self-defeating pursuit. The twig is not about striving, it just is. The more I strive to be like a twig, the less present and twig-like I will be. Some years I am more like a twig in the stream. Other years I try to paddle upstream or get out of the river entirely, making my mind, my body, my life fit my goals. But life keeps moving on, the river keeps flowing. And soon, perhaps this afternoon, my spouse and I will sit down and write our goals together. Whether or not they come to fruition, writing down our dreams together is a nice way to start the new year.
You know how sometimes you might forget to do something like forgetting to put away your laundry or to organize and leave something messy for the longest time? You might make a resolution in the new year or try to remember to do it before you forget. Sometimes it is harder to remember to do something you wanted to do more than others, and that's fine. But sometimes it can be a real pain. It could be different when it comes to the New Year resolution. For example, you might resolve to walk a mile every day, and then you may do it for a while, but then it starts to fade and you do less and less until you stop doing it completely. The next year, you might make a similar resolution and you completely forget to do it. Depending on what the resolution is, you might feel disappointed or upset that you forgot. But then you could still do it, depending on what it is. Sometimes you forget, but you don't care because it wasn't that important to you in the first place. Other times, your conscience might keep telling you you have to do it. Your conscience can be a bit pushy depending on what it is you want to do. Sometimes when you make a resolution and it's something you actually want to do, and maybe it's fun, then it might be easier to keep. Other times, sometimes you think you should do it, and maybe this encourages you to do it more than than just knowing you should. The resolution might help if you've been putting something off for too long. For example, something might be messy in your house, and you might want to clean it up, but you keep putting it off for a long time. And the resolution can help you not put it off. And sometimes it's okay because you don't have to do it if you don't want to, because the resolution is more about helping you to become a better person or to give an opportunity for you to do something you have been putting off. Even though some people think otherwise, and that's fine, because you should do what is best for you. So basically, one of the things I'm trying to say is it's fine to forget and remember New Year's resolutions.